Hi guys, welcome to Companion South. So let me start with Ram, who seems super excited right after coming out of Salaar. So what? First words.
Think like instant reaction, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I liked the high. Obviously, when you talk about Prashant Neel, you go for the elevations, the mass and everything. Yeah, we had all of that. But yeah, guys, I'm so excited. I really like the film. I got all of that plus a lot of drama. So yeah, I'm very, very happy. I want to watch it again. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm also in that phase where I'm excited. It's a movie that I liked overall, but obviously not as much as you liked it. And it's a movie that you really need to watch a second time because this is the world building movie. Like the first part of most, what do you call it, two-parters and all that. This is where all the rules are set. The world is constructed. You have to understand that this movie works only in a place called Kansas. It's not a movie that makes any sense
Has nothing to do with the real world.
Yeah. So a lot of rules, a lot of understanding the dynamics of the place, and that's what made it exciting for me compared to a generic first half. Would you agree?
To be very honest, see, the first half is it's Basha, right? It's everything in this film is building up towards something. So the entire first half is like that Basha template where it's like a volcano. Prabhas is like a volcano waiting to erupt. See, only issue I had with the film was that the entire politics, the legal constitution. They even say that that book, it focuses so much on politics that at times you tend to, at least there were a couple of instances where I zoned out because I was waiting for the action to begin. But there was this assurance also that when the focus is on politics, when it's about people sitting in rooms and talking about conspiracies, you know that it's going to lead up to a much bigger explosion. Yeah. And that happens like twice or thrice in the second half. So the wait is worth it.
Yeah. No, that's pretty much what I felt about the movie too. For me, the excitement of a movie like this is like watching like a movie like 300 or of course Game of Thrones, like Prashant Neel himself discussed in that interview, or maybe Hunger Games. So it's about that world. Everything else is things that we've seen before. Of course, we've both seen Ugram, so you kind of know that this is a reasonably faithful retelling or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So once it gets out of that Ugram phase into the world of Kansar, I was completely sold. I was really getting into the details of it, and that's where the film really clicked.
And you can see that Prashant Neel is enjoying a lot creating this world. Yeah. We might not enjoy it equally because it's so much to process. But you can see that the filmmaker is having so much fun with, the three tribes. He's explaining the political, the hierarchy,
the
voting, which is like, guys, you wouldn't expect it's an election movie. Yeah. If you think about it, the second half, he's having so much fun with that. Like they show that balance, right? You have text saying that for ceasefire, against ceasefire. Yeah. It says that the filmmaker is having a blast of a time, but again he balances it with his trademark Prashant Neel isms, right? The details. It's not just about one big mass movement. It's about the build up towards it. For instance, in the first half, not spoiler, but there is something with Goddu Karam, right? Because Prabhas eats his food with
it becomes a recurring thing.
Yeah, it's a recurring thing, and a major incident takes place because of that. I mean, like it's a detail, and you have those kids from like the kids saluting Prabhas. It's like a little KGF thing. You have all those Prashant Neel isms. But it never loses track of, the overarching, the story. Yeah.
But do you feel like, okay, of course he kept saying during the interviews that it's a drama. It's a succession drama actually. If you watch it, think of it as a succession drama.
Which KGF also had traces of, right?
Of course, yeah. But a small part of it. Yeah. But do you feel like, okay, the majority of the audience were expecting those next level elevation scenes might come out feeling like they're missing something?
I don't think so, because like I said, like I'll tell my example. In the second half, there is one sequence where it gets a lot about politics, where one father wants his son to, succeed him, but then that son gets killed and all. And you see that the father is, teaming up with someone else to take revenge on Prabhas and all. Those portions, they might be a little tedious. Yeah. At least I felt they were tedious. But what is it culminating in?
Yeah.
It is culminating in a kick-ass mass movement, right? So I think, like I said already, the moments felt more rewarding here. Like KGF 1, not like KGF 2 where he was just gifting us, like he was just throwing biscuits at us.
Yeah.
Take it. But in KGF 1, if you notice, for around 35 minutes or 40 minutes of the second half, Yash does nothing. He's just holding himself back.
Yeah.
And when he takes that hammer, the theater explodes. I think Salaar follows that formula it banks on that formula. It holds itself back.
Yeah.
And when he unleashes Prabhas, it's fucking amazing.
Yeah, and I really understand now that we've seen KGF was so many years ago, right? Now when you watch the first part of Salaar, we also understand the structure so clearly, right? We know exactly when to expect what, and you know that the emotional through lines have not started kicking in yet. Of course, this is not a mother-son movie, this is a friendship movie.
Mother also has an equal part.
She's
in
important.
The first half.
She's important, but that's not the soul of the movie. The soul is the friendship.
Yeah.
So that real emotional aspect hasn't started kicking in yet. Yeah, but you know exactly
where it's gonna kick
and how it's going to fire. And the thing I loved, the scenes that I really loved most in that movie, of course, is the way it begins. It starts like that. You've seen the trailer about how a kid kind of has to take on like a giant almost, and how that's pretty much the entire essence of the second half.
Literally, because everyone has their own army. I love how we mentioned that there's one army from Sudan, there's one army from Ukraine, Russia. Yeah, and he has one guy.
Yeah, he brings one guy,
and when he goes in that car, he says they have a seat for one guy.
Yeah, and it's literally for the same exact situation, right? In the flashback, it's about how beautifully you understand that there are bullies who are taking on Prithviraj's young character.
Same guy is coming back again.
Same guys have come back again to take again the power away from something that he already deserves.
Yeah.
And that shot of him leaving and the shot which is intercut with the shot of him entering Khansar, I got goosebumps.
It's like,
and that is the essence of this movie. This is not a movie where you should expect goosebumps for the mass elevation scene.
Drama.
It's the drama, and you need to invest. It's not as easy to watch as KGF 2.
KGF 1 and 2.
It's layered. It's quite in depth. But let's talk about the mass angle. I personally didn't think that there was a single action movie which blew my mind.
Action sequence.
Okay. Because the climax of KGF 1 was unbelievable. And the same with the whole.
If you think about it, in KGF 1, it's not a climax. It's just that one moment where Yash rises out of water and chops his head.
Yeah.
It's just one moment if you think about it. Here, it's every set piece is like 15 to 20 minutes long. And for me, like I said again, in KGF 2, the mass moments, we were getting them very easily, but here he makes you wait, man. That entire 20-minute stretch in that tribal woman. That if you actually think about it, it was a 2-minute scene in Ugram. It was just a setup for a bigger fight in Ugram. Here he spends around 20 minutes without giving us that moment. You even get a sad song where you see that one woman is getting that, and Prabhas is not doing anything. So when that explodes, when he goes and when that 15-minute fight happens, it's like I was screaming constantly in the theater. And even inside that fight, it's not just a fight. He's placing setup and payoff there also. Like, those two people say 2 minutes. Give us 2 minutes, we'll prep the girl. And he's repeating the dialogue to them at the end. So Prashanth Neel gives a lot of... he gives a shit. He cares about callbacks and dialogues.
And tell me about what do you think about Khansar? What do you think about the world building? I felt like he was in next level control of that universe. More than KGF, which is basically what do you know about KGF? It's a mine. A lot of slavery is going on there, and you have to get back. I mean, the guy who gets KGF gets all the gold. More than that, there's no complications to understanding the world of KGF.
Simple,
But this is elaborate. I understand what Prithviraj is saying when you said that this guy's got a 1,000-year history of that place, and you need to know that. This is a different place. It's not a place that's on the map of India.
Literally, they show it getting wiped off.
And it's got a different dynamic, and it really appeals to that part of you that has enjoyed these Western fantasies, Western.
A lawless land. You can just go chop anyone.
So that's one thing I really liked about the movie.
I loved the fact that when that whole voting scene is happening, it's not a spoiler, guys. They use the bracelets, right? The size of their bracelets was different.
Shows the count,
shows like the value,
land that they have.
That much detail. The fact that wearing that nose ring has that importance.
And this is what we've always wanted, right? There are people who study, like as a course they study Star Wars, as a course they study Star Trek. So like this is like, I mean, they've almost created a separate Mahabharata, if you want
Yeah,
to get it.
mythology.
Yeah.
And another thing with Prashant Neel is that we all know how much he loves editing, right? And this is a film where he is the most tame, as well as where he is most bonkers.
Yeah.
So there are sequences where everything is in control, everything is going smoothly. There are silences in the film, surprisingly, a lot of silences compared to
cool use of silences.
KGF 1 and 2. The head chop, there's a head chop scene and it's a silence. Had it been the KGF Prashant Neel or KGF 2 Prashant Neel, that's it. And speaking about the bonker stuff, he just loves editing, man. There is one sequence in the second half where we see that Prithviraj is trying to control Prabhas, and the way it is intercut with 4 to 5 scenes, 4 to 5 events, and every event has a start, every event has a midpoint. You think that event is over, but no, you get another event.
Correct.
Another extra tail that
adds to it.
I love that. Again, if I say something, it's gonna sound very redundant, but I love his editing. Love his editing, and happens so many times in the second half. For instance, when Varda goes to meet Deva for the first time, it's intercut with him, their younger versions having a conversation. That conversation that happened just before the opening scene. Things like that were very smartly done. But if I have one issue with the film, I really wish it had a much stronger supporting cast. Because see, I'm not saying that all of the supporting characters have that much screen time, but they are very important characters. Like for instance, in the second half, where you get a guy called Nara. No disrespect to the actor, no disrespect at all. I'm very glad that he had a very small role in Bhimla Naik, but he's getting such a cool role here. But I really wish that role I really wish that role was played by a much stronger actor, because
or a familiar actor.
Or a familiar actor. Not even familiarity. I mean, if you look at KGF, all those actors, they were not familiar, but you could feel the gravitas. You could feel the gravitas. Here, I couldn't feel that, because that Prabhas is going to just crush them and go on. I wish it had stronger supporting cast to to make the threat look more tangible, and to give them that dominance. No,
same. I obviously did not like the movie as much as you did. I got the movie. I enjoyed the world building. I enjoyed a lot of things. But honestly, I didn't get a lot of rousing moments, which is, I guess, something a lot of people are going to be expecting. But it's without doubt a movie I'm going to watch a second time. And it's without doubt a movie where you need to wait for the second part. Because this is just sample. Okay, favorite scene?
Too many to pick, but instantly I can think of Prabhas entering Khansa, that entire stretch where he goes, talks to Deva, and he doesn't ask him to come back. He's like, I'll tell mom and come, right? Deva just, I'll tell mom and come. He comes back, that stretch. And it is also intercut with, that girl, that tribal girl, praying for, if God is not going to come, I'll at least pray that a demon comes. Right?
Correct.
That entire stretch was for me.
That's pretty much my favorite scene also.
Really?
Yeah, of course. And apart from the small 20-30 seconds where you feel like the mass elevation scenes is just going to go to the next level, it didn't for me, but I can understand that it did for a lot of people. So I guess that's it. That's our super quick review of Salaar. He loved it. So I am expecting a lot of you guys to also love it, and let's see what happens in the second part.
Waiting for the second part. Bye guys.